Talk Radio.
Well, hello everyone. This is Stephen, webmaster for PetGroomer.com. It's, let me put the time mark in here. It's Saturday, November 19th of the year 2016. Today we're going to talk about holistic pet grooming, and we have two I consider experts in that field. They've done a great job with some new publications on this topic, and thought this is a great thing we need to talk about. Now, it's also the beginning of the end of our season on Groomer Talk Radio. We will be having 2 or 3 more shows before 2016 ends. Then we will be having several shows per month for January, February, and March once we all get through that busy holiday grooming rush. So be sure to check out what we're going to put the full schedule up within a couple, 3 days. This coming Monday, we will have Thumbtack. If you haven't heard about Thumbtack, it's a great way to grow your business with referrals. They get thousands of searches from pet owners who are looking for a groomer, and they take information, share that information with those of you who sign up. You do not have to take any of the clients. You get to choose the ones that you want. In fact, in the beginning, some of these will be free referrals to you. Otherwise, there's a slight charge. But we've had some great remarks on the Groomer Talk message board. If you haven't heard about this, some people have been with Thumbtack for a while and have had great reviews of this. So if you're looking to grow your business, they have pet owners calling from every zip code. So you may want to check in. That is Monday, November 21st of 2016. I believe it's 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. But, of course, you can always listen, as most people do, to the recording. So now let's get on. Now, who are we having on today? We are having Daryl Conner and Mary Oquendo. Many of you know them, if you've been at Groomer Talk, as being GroomWise bloggers. That's groomwise.com, where you can read their blogs. They've been with us quite a while, and actually members of our message board as well. A lot of you know, especially Mary at Working Chihuahua. That's her name there. And they also both write for Pet Groomer magazine. That was also eGroomer magazine. You can go back and read their past articles. Both have done multiple articles for the magazine. You can always read those at PetGroomer.com. Let's start with Daryl. She's a certified pet care dermatech specialist, Master Pet Stylist Emeritus, and a certified Master Cat Groomer. All this in addition to her being very busy in the industry as an author blogger. She serves as Vice President of the Professional Cat Groomers Association of America. She's the recipient of the coveted 2005 Cardinal Crystal Award for Journalism and the 06 and 07 Award for Congeniality. And, of course, she got the 2013 Barclay Honors Award for Writing. There's actually more to that, but we'll get her on here and let you talk with her soon. Let's go to Mary. Mary is an owner and stylist of Positively Pretty Mobile Grooming Salon in Danbury, Connecticut. She's a certified master pet tech, instructors, and she offers great seminars, pet CPR. She's very well known. She takes an active interest in our board, actually answering many of your questions. She knows and has written about Reiki for pets, and she's a certified crystal therapist. Once again, another person that has long credentials here. So I'm going to try to, let's get them on and get talking about holistic and their new projects. Now, I don't know which is which because I just get phone numbers, but who's there? Is Daryl there?
This is Mary.
Okay. Daryl, are you there? I'm not sure.
She should be coming in. Yeah, she's, I know she's calling from her cell phone.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, there she is.
Okay,
Hello.
good. There you are. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you're all in, and we've got both of you. You sound pretty good. Well, I'm going to leave it to you guys first to decide who's going to answer some of the questions that we have about holistic pet grooming. And I'd like to say one thing. I do remember about, GroomerTALK message board has been around, 17 years or something now. But around 10 years ago, when we even started a first thread on holistic pet grooming, we had a bit of a turmoil. It was kind of, it was, I don't know if you remember, it was like, okay, Mr. Moderator, who would have ever thought this topic, I'd do that extra moderator chores. And yet today when we start talking about it, people have changed and really. Any idea why this is more accepted now?
Because I honestly, I think they just stopped and listened to the people who were talking about it. And it realized it isn't like this crazy hoodoo-voodoo stuff that's out there, but just some sort of basic care as far as how we treat the animals, how we treat the clients, and how we treat ourselves.
It could be just as simple as that. I must say I'm very pleased because it's a great topic. It's caring. It's professional. So what is all this, that other flack we used to have? So, Mary, why don't you tell, and both of you, tell us a little bit what made you want to write the book about holistic pet grooming?
Well, for me, the book came about for the dog named Pepe. And to go back further than Pepe, back when I worked in the shop, I was grooming this cat, and I pretty much worked by myself. I didn't have a lot of people helping me out. And I learned cat grooming basically by, baptism by fire. They just said, oh, hey, you have a cat coming in, let's start cat grooming. So I didn't know a whole lot about cat behavior at that time. And I remember grooming this one cat, and I would swear to you the cat was telling me, help me, the entire groom. And when they came to pick up the cat, and I was telling the owner, boy, your cat is very talkative, the owner had replied, oh, yes, the cat tells us, love me, love you all the time. So here this cat is telling the owners how much it loves them, but was telling me, help me. And so I stood back at that point and thought maybe some of my handling techniques could be improved. And that's probably where it first started, looking into the way I handled animals, the environment that I was providing for these animals. So that was kind of like the birthplace for me. And it kind of came to a head when I realized that I really needed to be more vocal about holistic grooming, and that was with Pepe. Now, by the time I started grooming Pepe, I had already, come into the whole holistic about my environment and being soothing, and the music, and the crystals, and essential oils, so that when I got a phone call from somebody asking me if I groomed evil chihuahuas, because Pepe had been banned from many, many shops, just came to mind my own chihuahua, who we nicknamed Grumpy Boy. But I thought maybe that the chihuahua might simply have been overwhelmed in a grooming shop. There's other dogs, there might be cats, there's people going back and forth. And maybe this wasn't an evil chihuahua, but maybe just simply an overwhelmed chihuahua. So I took him on my schedule on that premise. And it took probably about 3 grooms with him for him to turn into a very, very good boy. He was one of my best clients. In fact, I'm still grooming him. He's now like about 14 years old. But he went from being an evil Chihuahua to a very, very good Chihuahua, and it really was the environment that he was being groomed in, and that made a huge difference on how well he reacted to it.
Now, I think we should help the people who are going to be listening to hear, how do we define holistic grooming?
You want me to take that one, Mary?
Yep.
Okay. So you're probably going to have to add some in a little bit, but I'm going to answer it this way. When I told one of my customers, who's a veterinarian, was hanging out in my studio when I was grooming her dog one day, and I told her I was working on this book with Mary, and she said, well, what is holistic pet grooming? And I said, well, it's the first time somebody actually just asked me that question. I had to think about it a little bit, and I said, well, basically, it's paying attention to more than just the way the dog looks when it leaves after being groomed, that it's paying attention to the dog's body, soul, and spirit, and making sure that the experience is not just one that the dog looks nice when it's done, but that it feels comfortable and that it feels happy. And I explained to her that it was paying attention to the products that we use to clean our workspace with, the products that we used on the animals, the tools we used on the animals, the environment we created. And she looked at me, and she's a very attractive young woman, and she tilted her head to one side. She said, well, isn't that kind of a no-brainer? And I chuckled, and I thought, well, it should be a no-brainer, but in many cases it is not. And I came to this sort of more holistic way of working after almost 30 years of being in the industry and working in a variety of different situations, mobile grooming, and upscale spa grooming, and a crummy kennel grooming, and for vets' offices grooming. I've done kind of everything. And I found that the last 2 or 3 years, working the way I'm working, the dogs respond so much more positively, and cats as well, respond so much more positively to the environment where it's quiet and calm, and that I am paying attention to their mental well-being as well as their physical well-being and the physical outcome of how they look. And so to me, it's sort of an all-encompassing approach of how we groom the whole animal, not just its exterior appearance.
All right, and I'm going to take that one step further, or maybe even 2 steps further. So in addition to everything that Daryl just said, there's other 2 components to holistic grooming. And the first one is the groomer. Are we taking care of ourselves? Or are we just like working and working and working until our bodies break down? I'm 55 years old. I don't want to be 70 years old and totally broken down and can't enjoy life. So this care I take for myself and things I do for myself, I think that's really important for groomers to do that. And then there's the whole client side of it. And I really and truly don't subscribe to the customer is always right attitude. However, I do feel customers need to be educated. And I think when we present our cases to them over, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I need to shave down your dog. Or this is why I'm not shaving down your dog. Or this is why I'm using this. Or I think we need to break up the grooming. Everything is for the betterment of the pet. But I make sure the owners are aware of what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and so that by educating them and taking the time to educate them, I find that most of them appreciate that and are much easier to work with, and they feel more comfortable leaving their pets with me.
So
and also on that topic is to allow owners to have some input into what they are expecting from the groom, which a lot of groomers I think don't do.
Right. I think you are perhaps spending a bit more time, and maybe it becomes even more formalized someday, even that you're spending there's a little bit more focus on a total evaluation rather than just getting the dog out of a cage and just starting up and just grooming it. So I would think
yes,
even
absolutely.
to be, that's this evaluation. I know my mother used to love us to write down observations and record that. So we always had them. We could go 8 years back and figure out what were the observations those days. So that implies a bit more professional. And so I don't think someone who's just even in their first year of coming out of school or something like that would have that'd still be a goal to get all to that level, but it's something that goes beyond just the basics of grooming the pet. So, and I think that's excellent. It's another level of awareness, just to not wait till the dog shows a behavior problem, but to anticipate through an evaluation, say, behavior problems, because you're going to groom that dog a lot different with some of those different behaviors and all. So.
And sometimes over time we'll notice a change in behavior, which I think is really important to let the owner know right away. I have one dog that's always been really good, and a couple of groomers back he started having a little issues with me cutting his nails, and now it's gone from cutting the nails to he doesn't like his feet being touched. And he's a good boy. So my suggestion had been, and I had been talking to her, he's giving me trouble around his feet, and that's a new behavior for him. So what's going on that's causing him to act like this? And sometimes there are things going on in the household. Like in this particular case, an uncle had passed away. One of their other dogs had passed away. So there was like a lot of stress and turmoil in the house, and the owners were not aware of how it had been affecting the other dogs in the house. So sometimes that gives tools to the owners to look at some of the emotional issues that their dogs are having, and so that they can address them before they become full-blown emotional or behavioral issues.
And on that same note, sometimes behavioral changes have to do with some kind of a physical change in the pet. So sometimes that means that the owner needs to take the dog to the vet and see, if there's something going on with them that we can handle them differently.
Yeah. So I have a very open dialogue with my clients, and the very first time I come to a new client, I spend time with that owner. It's not give me the dog and sign a couple of papers and then go out to my van. I sit down with them. I go over all my paperwork with them, what they can expect from me, what I'm expecting from them. I invite them to come into the van with me if they want. Some take advantage of that, some don't. I always kind of coach it with as long as you don't make your dog crazy, you're welcome to stay. They know who they are. They know if they're making their dog crazy or not. Especially if you're charging, because I have an hourly rate. So if you make your dog crazy and it's going to take me longer, then the price is going to go up.
Exactly. In the floor plans that I design, we have even silent rooms for those really screaming pets. But every once in a while, we joke about might be a good place to put one of those owners, that wants to sit around during the groom. Yeah. Products has to play a big role in holistic grooming. How about you guys telling me what's your viewpoint on products that you use?
All right. For me, go ahead, Daryl.
Go ahead.
Me?
I was
okay.
going to say I think there's a misunderstanding that some people think that products have to be, 100% holistic and, crunchy granola and all this stuff. For me, that is not so much true, but what is true is that you need to know your products and know what you're using on which pet and why, and understand a little bit about the chemical makeup and what is toxic and what isn't toxic, and make some intelligent, informed decisions about what products you're using on and around the animal.
Oh, I totally agree there with Daryl. A good number of my products are not essential oil-based or all natural. Many of them are very, very normally commercial products, but ingredients, I know the ingredients that are in my products. So if that pet has a reaction to it, I can then go right to the vet and say, this is what I'm using, these are the ingredients, so that the vet can make an intelligent decision on treatment for that pet based on what's in that bottle. So I think it's important that we know what it is that is in the products that we're using, because the owners and the clients, they depend on us because we're the professionals. We should know what we're doing and what products that we're using and whether or not they are truly safe for the pets in our care.
Does holistic pet grooming have to imply that it's more spa-like? Is there any basis for that, saying that it's more of a spa treatment?
Not necessarily. I think you could do holistic grooming anywhere, because if you're taking into consideration the needs of the pet, the needs of the client, and your own personal needs, to me that's holistic grooming. It doesn't matter where you're doing it or how you're doing it. I mean, it could be one-on-one. I mean, I'm a mobile groomer, so I'm one-on-one. It could be very well be in a busy shop, providing that busy shop does take into consideration all of those parts of grooming.
As a holistic pet groomer, do you? Because again, we're really defining today. You know, who knows exactly what it is? It's still kind of in its infancy. But do you feel that holistic pet groomers, it would be perhaps even ordinary someday that they might give more observations, like, you know, what are you feeding your pet? When there's obviously skin conditions that are probably related to what they're eating and things. Is that something I would expect of a holistic groomer someday, do you think?
Maybe down the line. Go ahead, Daryl. You go.
No, I was going to say that I certainly am not opposed to asking questions like that of the owners. Because I invite owners to stay when I'm grooming, which I know a lot of groomers don't do, and I would say about 80% of my customers do stay. But we tend to have a lot of discussions about their pet. You know, they tell me fun things, you know, what the pet likes to do and this and that. But then we also tend to touch on nutrition and who their vet is and, you know, what kind of care they're getting. And a lot of times I can sort of guide them, and I certainly don't prescribe, you know, what they should be feeding their pets. But sometimes I will suggest informative websites that they can check out. You know, oh, you're feeding Beneful. You might check out this website where they rate pet foods, and let the owner do a little bit of research to see, you know, that perhaps that food is not ideal for their pet. So I certainly don't tell them what to do, but I might open a dialogue where they can maybe learn some things and make more informed decisions.
You know, I'll also explain to owners how to read labels on pet food so that when they look at a label, they can understand what it is that they're reading. And a lot of times they can make decisions based on, oh, I didn't know that, and also send them to, like, again, informative websites where they can make their own decisions regarding the food that they're feeding.
Great. What about marketing? Tell me a bit. Are you going to market in the advantage of what you say? Or if you're going to say, I'm a holistic pet groomer, and we've sort of defined it here, do you suggest any special marketing?
Well, for me, when I got the new van and I needed new clients, I did put an ad in my local Natural Awakenings on all the benefits of a holistic groomer. I also write for them, so I just write in exchange for an ad because, you know, print ad can be really, really expensive. Advertising in general is very expensive, so you do really want to get the most bang for your bucks. So that was more my target audience. You really need to go after your target audience. Not everybody wants to pay more money for slower grooming, for more one-on-one, more personalized grooming. So not everybody is going to be your ideal client. So I targeted specifically to, like, the Natural Awakenings, and it was a very successful ad for me. I mean, I filled up really, really quickly, and I think the ad ran like twice, and that was it. So yeah, I would definitely target who you're going, decide who it is that you want as your client, and then go. I mean, I wouldn't put an ad like in Craigslist or the Penny Saver because those are price shoppers. So you want to go someplace where people put your advertising dollars where the people who are going to see the ad are the ones who are likely to buy from you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does to me. I'm wondering whether there would be any, with that kind of clientele, do you think there's sort of a built-in potential to sell product, some sort of product, whether it's the pet care, the health, the foods? Do you think the people that are going to want to go to a holistic pet groomer are sort of a nice built-in market, perhaps for you to expand your retail sales?
I do add-on services, and I have found I do Reiki packages that I'll add on to the end of the grooming, and that audience is also going to be more likely to do that as well. So, yeah, there's definitely room for, like, retail growth, especially if you're a shop and you have the room. The retail that I personally do is based on my own dogs. So if my dogs like it and I'm comfortable with my own dogs, then I'll offer it to my clients. This way, if it doesn't sell well, it doesn't matter. My dogs will pick up the slack on it. So, but yeah, I'm very particular about the items that I do have, and then my clients know that as well too.
Do you think if you were an employer, I know Mary, you don't have employees. Daryl, you don't have employees though either.
I do not. No.
Yeah. Do you think it adds an extra dimension to being an employer of a holistic pet groomer? Does it perhaps a bit more training or something might be required, or experience?
Yeah, I definitely think that some extra training and experience, would be required, just because it's just a slightly different approach than what many mainstream groomers are doing. It wouldn't be a huge amount of extra education, I don't think, but yes, I think certainly there's room for some additional educational benefits to groomers doing this.
Yeah, I would think so, and perhaps especially if they're going to do some of the client communication, whereas, if I had a reception person in this kind of environment, that person I know would have to be a bit more in awareness, but since the groomer might be dealing with some of that client relations, I would think just the way they handle, again, this evaluation and communication, to me, in a way, there's a lot more potential for conversation, discussion with the clientele, because it's not just going to be about that style, that they're choosing what's appropriate. That's the beauty part of it, but just this evaluation, your opinion would, to me, in a sense, carry a lot more weight as part of the grooming service of what you're sensing about this pet and all, which that to me makes it very interesting, holistic pet grooming. I think, in a way, my mother was like that, because she was on the counter all the time, and she loved to talk, and she read everything and all, and in a sense, she really was always wanted to sit and talk as long as you wanted about the dog, whether it was the food or the veterinary observations, whatever. But because this kind of grooming, in my opinion, what you're writing about here and discussing, and what I saw there is she just bonded thousands of people because they liked going that extra mile and talking about these issues if they had the time and just wanted to. So I think in a way that you could actually bond clients more loyal to you with this holistic approach, is what I'm getting to. Because
absolutely.
And I think that's really important, being so much of the work I do on the business side. Look, it's repeat business that is what you want. My mother was always appointment frequency and keeping the clients there, rather than always trying to keep growing your client base. Always maximize what you already have with your client base as well. And I think this is one fantastic idea, in my opinion, to market out there that way.
Oh, client loyalty is tremendous. I just did an article for Groomer to Groomer on, I'm not sure what issue it is, but basically there's some guy really, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but anyway, he had a quote where basically 80% your existing clients should be driving your business. That's where you're going to make your most money, with 80% of repeat clients. And if you don't have that 80%, you're not making money. So you need to hang on to at least 80% of your clients. And I find with mobile grooming, that percentage is much higher than 80%. I probably have a loyalty of about 90, 98, 99%, if not close to that 100.
Excellent. Well, I'm curious. I want to move on to introduce more on the book that you guys written. Now, how did you two come about and say, hey, let's get together and write a book?
Go, Mary.
I called up Daryl and asked if she was busy.
No, she's
probably
not busy.
didn't give her much choice in the matter either.
Uh-huh.
Which was a good thing.
So yeah, we sat down. We decided what was important that we wanted to cover in the book, and we broke it up into chapters, and we just kind of went at it.
And we felt like this was something important for the industry, an important contribution that we could make.
I do too. I like I said, because actually, Daryl, that latest blog post that you did that just started defining it in such a friendly, non-controversial way and whatever. I thought that's exactly what a great way to start introducing the concept to people. It's very friendly and customer oriented as well as care for the pet. And I thought, this is a great approach. So, how long did it take you guys to write it?
About a year, wasn't it, Mary?
Yeah, I think so, about a year, because we both have so many other things going on, and we just kind of went back and forth with it. How does this sound? Edit it. Let's go on to the next chapter. So I think about close to a year we spent on the book.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping that we can help you get the word out for this. Are either of you doing anything with the show circuit this year with that topic?
As far as topics are concerned,
or just, you can certainly share what you're doing at the shows. Go ahead, but I didn't know if there was going to be maybe even a part of a seminar or seminar just even on this topic.
As far as I know, not yet. But the schedules for next year really and truly haven't been set yet. The only
and it's
thing
a good idea.
It is a good idea, and I think there should be way more classes on any of this at the trade shows. The only thing I could tell you for certain is that the only show that I know that has been set up so far has been the Atlanta Pet Fair, and I'm doing Pet First Aid at that, and that's it.
Yep,
maybe we need to promote that idea a little bit, Mary. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep, I just started. I just was working on the calendar.
Or if people who are interested in these type of topics let the trade show directors know they are interested in classes in this. That might be a way for more of these classes to be held. If the trade shows don't know the classes are, if they're interested in the classes, then they'll just go with what they normally do.
Yep, I definitely think there's a percentage of groomers that would have a great interest. It could be a great seminar. One or both of you, however you guys work that out. But especially if you've written a book, that's going to be one of the great ways to promote the book for sure. So, how do people get a copy of the book?
Well, there's 3 ways they can get a copy of the book. It's being sold through Barkley. So if they go to Barkley.com and go onto their shop and then go to books, it's there. They can order it directly from Barkley. They could also order it directly from Groomers Mall. And they could also either contact Daryl or myself, and we can get a copy out to them.
I have to correct you. I think it's from Frank Rowe & Son and not Groomers Mall.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Daryl's correct. It is Frank Rowe & Son.
Okay. I'm making a note here so I can sure to post this info for you as well on the board. Okay. So both of you, what are you planning take a moment. What 2017? Any other plans of what you got? Something special going on?
Well, yeah. Daryl and I are working on another book.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit of what that's going to be about, or is that not yet?
Do you want to tell them what it's about, Daryl?
Nope. Well, Mary had this idea that it might be fun to do a book about sort of stories from our experiences, just in general over the many years that we have been working, and something a little bit. I think it's sort of lighthearted and fun, but also maybe learn from things that we have experienced before. So it's in the very beginning phases.
That'd be fun. I know my mother started writing her last book was A Day in a Dog Grooming Salon or something like that.
Yes.
But she never got around to finishing it because we're always dealing with management issues here, still to this day, especially on independent contractor conflicts. Keeps me busy. He's been busy.
Now, Daryl and I also have another project that's in the works that she and I are working on a writing workshop, so that for people who are interested in writing, like for magazines or blogs or for whatever, that's something else that we've got up our sleeve.
Excellent. Well, that's what I love about you guys. Both of you keep very busy just looking at your profiles, and of course what I see, what you even donate to us and put in. You guys just wonderfully involved in the industry. So I really appreciate that, and thank you for doing that for our industry. So
thank you for being there for us.
Well, I enjoy it. You know, that's 55 years now. I go, oh my gosh, but you know, I love it too. And so what? We're going to bring this to a close. It's 45 minutes gone by quick. I will post all the information. Anyone listening, if again, Barkleigh, that's BARKLEIGH.com. Frank Rowe and Sons has a website as well. And what was the other way?
They can contact either Daryl or myself.
Okay.
The best email for me is mary@positivelypretty.com, or they can find me on Facebook.
Okay.
And
or on the
just
forum.
To throw this out there, the price is what, $19.95, Mary? Is that right?
$19.95 plus shipping.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very reasonably priced.
Excellent. And I will get that posted there for you. And thank you for being with us today. And we'll have the show
Thanks
out
so
there.
much for having us, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Celebrate St. Patrick's Day by saving some green at your friendly neighborhood Albertsons. For a delicious dinner, save on St. Patrick's Day favorite Signature Farms corned beef brisket, boneless point cut, just $1.79 a pound with in-ad coupon. Limit 2 packages while supplies last. And for a sweet snack, Mystic Treat seedless grapes, large 2-pound packages are only $2.99 each for a limited time. Tastier meats, sweeter produce, bigger savings. Albertsons, it's just better.